Hello, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for coming back, and as always, huge massive thank you for the support. I really do appreciate it. So apologies that I missed the other day. Just had this bug that's been going around. Nothing too major, just wiped me out for a couple of days, that's all. But I'm coming back with this today. I've ordered my goodie box from Hunkydory. They've left there. Royal Mail have said they're going to be delivered tomorrow. So from when I get that and I start making videos, I'm just going to make Christmas cards now up to Christmas pretty much, unless I get bored or something interesting comes along. But I do have quite a few Christmas cards to make for family, so I do need to make a few at least. But back to this Decolarge kit, the In Full Bloom Floral Delights, and I'm going to be having a little play with this set today, probably with the Snowdrop. So we've got the two toppers, both of them have got all the 3 sentiments on each. You've got a border and a smaller border. You've got your printed cardstock, one for each. You've got your decoupage or decolarge. Again, for that one, you've got your decolarge with the little bee, and then you've got your inserts, one for each one. So I've got the ultimate kit, so I've got 2 of everything. So yeah, so you know, there's 2 of everything in the kit, so always worth getting if you really love to have a play with these decolages. Right, so today what I thought I'd do is 2 quite similar types of card, but I'm hoping to be, because I'm trying to make 3 cards out of each of these sets, I'm hoping to be really economical with that card. So that's why I'm doing 2 cards that are a little bit similar but different at the same time. So you'll see what I mean when I get going. But I'm going to start with a twisted easel for the first one. So I've just taken a piece of 6x12 cardstock. So I've just remembered I've got my watch on it, just annoys me sometimes. So I'm just going to score at the 6, and then I am going to score, if I can fit it on here, I'm not going to be able to. Let's do it on the trimmer instead. So I've scored down the 6-inch mark, and then I just need to score from corner to corner on there. So just going to put that down there. If I had the bigger board, that would be a lot easier, but I have the small one, mainly because it was Mum's, so I do like using it just because of that reason. So I'm just going to give these a fold down. I don't know if this is going to be where they are staying at this point. Let's see, now we need to go the other way, don't we? Better the other way. There we go. So that's the secret of an easel card. If you think you've got it the wrong way, then just turn your card around and you will get it sort of folded in the other way. And I'm just going to give those nice garnish down. So that is our card shape. So we've got this base here that we need to cover, or I want to cover, and then we've got this piece here. So let's pop that to the side. So I've got some gold mirror card. The base is just going to be my normal 2 notches. Sorry, it's just the hair there that was annoying me. 2 notches off the 6 on 2 of the sides, just to give me that really fine white border. If you prefer it gold right to the edge, you can just use your mirror mat straight on the bottom. It will be 6x6 and it should fit. You might have to just take a tiny bit off one side just because of that fold. So for the second piece, I'm going to cut this at 2 notches under the 6 on 2 sides again, and then I'm going to cut that down the middle, and that should give me a beautiful mat for that corner piece. Now you could, if you wanted to, go ahead and cut, if you don't want to do any of these sort of triangles, you could cut another piece of 6x6, glue it just to this piece here, and then you'd have that whole piece coming up. but I want my topper coming off the edge, so that is going to fit quite nicely on there. And we're going to keep this to the side for our next card. And then if I bring in the printed cardstock, actually I need that insert, so let's take that out as well. I will cut that on the guillotine because this trimmer tends to rip it rather than cut it nicely. So this piece, just my normal size, 5 3/4 square and 5 3/4 square. So we've got a nice piece of cardstock there. Okay, now I do want to try and work this out, which is going to be best for me. So I think if I cut that way, that is going to work out for me with the majority of it on that side. Those plants go in all directions, so it doesn't really matter. What I am going to do is just take a tiny little bit off. Let's try one side. I might have to do both, just because it was quite close to that diagonal edge. No, that's fine, just the one. I'm going to keep that to the side for our second card again. So the base of this card, I'm going to need to use the guillotine because I'm using that insert. That way my card is still acting as a proper card. And I'm not even looking to use the pretty side because a lot of it's going to be hidden. Some of it's going to be hidden with the card standing up and our stopper being on it. So I'm just looking for something pretty just to coordinate in. If you want to use something more fancier, think about your edge-to-edge foiled sets, your duo design books, you know, papers that you've had with other sets, maybe even plain card that you emboss, you know, so loads of different ways that you can really sort of make that more the feature of the card. Okay, so the glues I'm going to be using, I've got my Cloud all-purpose in that one, I've got my Cloud tacky glue in that one. The all-purpose is like an alcohol-based glue, which is the same sort of glue as the Hunkydory construction. I just got a good deal on it, so that's just why I use that glue. And then the Cloud tacky glue, it's one of the, it's a PVA based glue, and I'm quite picky about my PVA glues because I don't like them to be too runny. And the Cloud tacky one is one that I really like. So the other ones I like it. There is a pin flare one, which is, I think, is a bookbinding glue. That's a really great one that I love. I think the tonic one's all right as well. But I have been using this tacky glue for quite some time, so it's more out of habit than any particular thing at this point in time. Okay, so for the paper going onto the bottom, because it's paper, I don't want to use my tacky because that's got water content in it. So I'm going to use my Hunkydory permanent dot tape pen. Just instead of that tacky glue in the corners, I'm putting my dots, and then I can use my all-purpose glue because it's alcohol based. It will glue that quite nicely without making it bubble. And the other thing as well is just gives me a little bit of time to float that into position. The only thing I would say is just make sure you get it all pressed down nicely, so that it doesn't dry into sort of hard bubbles underneath, because that can just make it a little bit difficult to write on sometimes. Okay, so not the neatest there. We could try and move it over if those dots haven't quite stuck down in that corner. This is the other benefit about that all-purpose glue, is that you do get a little bit of wiggle room time. Yeah, that's better. Alright, let's give that a good press down. I'm just going to use that. This is just the burnishing tool. Okay, so that's what we've got so far. And then we're just going to come in with this piece here. Gold mirror, and I've used gold because the kit's all gold foiled. I generally don't like to mix my foils unless it's a black foil. Sometimes I will mix out with a holographic, and vice versa. Sometimes a holographic I will mix with a black, but gold, if it's gold and silver, usually I like the foils to match. Okay. And then again with this one, this is just your basic matting and layering. Pop that on. And just be careful about the alcohol glue and your mirror foils. Don't go too close to the edge. If it splurges out, it will take some of the shine off your foil. So that is what I have got as my basic card decoration. Okay, so let's grab the topper, because I am going to use, am I going to use the topper on this one? Yes, I am going to use the topper on this one. There was a reason why I wanted to. And then I think I'm going to use for someone special as the stopper. Do I want to use border? Let's just pop them out. These do look very green, sort of feel a bit you know, shamrocky good luck sort of thing. That was a little bit too short, so would have to use this one. Don't think we want to use this one as a stopper, but we'll have a look, see which looks best. Okay, let's pop those bits to the side. Bear with me, let me just click off a message on my screen. Okay, so I'm kind of thinking maybe having that across there, that there, or we could have that there. Okay, I think what I do is I am going to have that as my stopper, and then we'll have that on the front. Reason being, as I'm thinking, when this card is in a package, you know, to be sold, all somebody's going to see is this and this, so they're going to know what type of card it is. I think that's going to make sense more than doing it the other way around. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so the trick to doing an easel card is only put glue on this side here. If you put glue here, what's going to happen is that's going to glue to the back, and then that's only going to open as a normal card. I mean, as it is, that does look like a nice card even when it's like that. You could do that as a plan, but it's not what we're aiming for today. What I'm also going to do is just go around with these little pips. These ones are quite prominent. Sometimes it's just easier to see them from the back. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is just going to pop that in the middle, and I'm kind of going from this top, the corner to corner. So what I'm going to do is just pop some glue along there. We'll pop a little bit of tacky in some of those corners, and then what I should be able to do is line up those two corners again. That's going to sit quite nicely on there. So that's how that's looking at the moment. Now, if you didn't want to use any of the decoupage on it, you could sort of just stop there. I am going to put a couple of layers of the decoupage on. I need to go a bit thinner. So for this one, this sentiment, I'm just using the 1mm foam pads. Somebody did ask if I put a link. Sorry, frog in my throat. Somebody did ask if I would put the link in the description, and I'm going to do that with this video, so that should be there unless I've completely lost the plot, which does happen often. So I am aiming to get that one there. Okay, so that is there. Let's grab some of these decoupage layers. Like I say, I just want a few of them. So I'm going to go for third layer. Just pop that out. This one's a little bit more delicate than the other ones that I've had so far. So I'm just going to be a little bit careful with it. Come on. There you go. Right, so we've got that layer. I'm going to go with this layer. And I'm going to go with that layer. And that. And I will leave those others for the next card. Now with this one you have to be checking the back to see all of these little landlocked areas. I mean, it is pretty much on a white background, so I don't think it would make too much of a huge difference if you forgot one, but you'll see it and you'll kick yourself if you notice it after the card's been done. Okay, so this one's been a little bit difficult, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take all of these backs out carefully, and then I'm going to put the pads on and take the pads off just to save a bit of time. So bear with me while I do that. Okay, so we've taken all the backs off, so I'm just going to take this biggest piece first of all. I'm just going to pop a little bit of tacky glue onto the back of these pads, just to give me time to wiggle it into place if I'm not quite right the first time, which is quite a thing that I do quite often. So let's just turn my card around and then sort of drop that in. I'm not quite sure what's going on with this one. There we go, that's a bit better. And then same again with my second layer. Again with the tacky glue. And if you've got one of their glue sticks, purple glue sticks, apparently that's supposed to do the same job. Again, I'm just going to turn that around. Pop that into place. Now that kind of looks real close. No cigar, that's better. So just move that into position. And I've got these little snowdrop heads. One I should be able to do the front, and then just this little snowdrop bud on the side. Just going to go onto there. Okay, now I did put some 2mm foam pads on here. These again are the Fix-It ones. I've had to cut them in half just to get them narrow enough. If you've got the Hunkydory the strips, they would be perfect for this. Now I'm not sure, I think I've got some green shimmer gems left, so That's probably what I'm going to use to decorate. But let's just pop that in. Probably want to go at an angle because I want that coming off the end so I could tidy that up. And if I pop those down, turn that over. I can just snip those to match. That's going to tidy those up. Okay, so that's how we're looking at the moment. So looking pretty nice. Ah yes, shimmer gems right here. Oh, I do like these dark green ones. And then we'll go with the dark green, I think. I was going to mix them up with the lighter ones on there, but I think the darker ones are going to look fantastic on there as well. So just going to go, because this card is designed to be at an angle, what I'm going to do is just pop my gems in at an angle there, and then I'm going to pop one at the bottom there, and I think I'm going to go actually with a small one just at that top if it will stick. There we go, we've got it. Okay, we'll keep those handy because we'll probably use those on the next card as well. But that is my finished card. So we've got our twisted easel. So I'm planning that, you know, obviously this would still be a normal card. You could write on there, it would be hidden behind, but that would sit on a shelf like, oops, let's turn it up the right way, like so. So oops, so you would see those gems at the front. That is card number 1, and I'm just going to get set up for card number 2. Okay, so for card number 2 I've got a 6x12 piece of 300 GSM white card, and all I've done is just folded that at 6 inches to make a 6x6 card. I'm going to bring in my trimmer, and all I'm going to do is pop corners into there, and cut through both layers of cards. So we have got some spare pieces of cardstock there, but this is the card that you're going to have your card base that's going to be left over. You bring in those pieces from before. We've got our triangular piece. We've cut. I think I'm going to have to take a little bit off this again. So let's just take maybe a notch off, just so that that fits quite nicely onto there. It does. And then we want this piece to fit onto there quite nicely. Let's just take a tiny piece off, less than a notch really, just to give it that nice border all the way around. Okay, so super quick, that's the base of our card. And then I'm going to take my cardstock and just want to measure where that, so we could go, we go 4.5 by 4.5. So some nice pieces of card there left over. I'm going to grab another gold mirror mat, and I'm just going to cut this at 2 notches above 4.5, and that's on the square. So we'll keep those bits for another day, but that should fit quite nicely onto there. And if you don't want to do square, you could bring in your circle dies or your circle cutters, anything like that. Really sort of start to match that up in whatever way you want to. Now what I want to do is bring in a little bit of this mint ribbon. What I have to be quite mindful of is that this is going to be coming over the top of there, so if I were to do it as I normally do it, I would see the ugly bit of the glue at the back, and I don't want that, so I'm going to pop it straight onto the back of this cardstock. I'm just going to cut some little pieces of red liner tape. It's probably a bit bigger than I need. Let me just get rid of that one. Doesn't want to leave me. There we go. And I literally just want a little bit coming over on this corner. So I think about there, and then about there. Just going to give those a little rub down. Apologies if you can hear my tummy grumbling. I'm not hungry. Yeah, my sister just made a roast dinner, which was all I could eat really, but I did make a good go of it. I haven't eaten much over the last couple of days, so I am a bit morbid, to be honest. I'm starving. There you go. Right, so we've got our little bit coming across. You don't have to put the ribbon on if you don't want to. You could leave it plain. Oh, little red bits. So I'm just going to bring in some tacky glue underneath there. And I like to put some under because it not only glues the ribbon down, but it also stops the ribbon fraying if it were to come out. So we're going to put a little bit of tacky glue, and then our usual all-purpose. And then I'm going to pop that one onto there. There we go, that's better. Okay, so let's pop these pieces down as well. Obviously you're only going to need a little bit of an insert to go in there if you're going to put one in. Some cards at the moment I am putting inserts in, but if I run out of inserts or there's no inserts that I've bought with the kit, or I've been too lazy to download, I have been leaving them plain. There we go, so that one's on there. So I think, yes, that's going to be at the top, so that's fine. If you want to put the ribbon down this piece, you could, rather than putting it on there. And you know, you could emboss this piece with a mask or your embossing folders, you know, however you want to elevate. Okay, so that is where we are at the moment. What I'm going to do is just give those a minute or two to set. I'm going to bring out my little bone maker. There's a bit of paper in it for some reason. And I'm going to grab another piece of that ribbon. I'm just going to make myself a little bow. This is way more ribbon than I needed. Try and move that round a bit, and I might save some for another time. So I'm just pulling that through, pulling that knot into the middle. And then tightening it up. So we've got our little bow. And then if I work out which way these tails are going, pop those to the side. There's our bow. Okay, so again what I need to do is just make sure that I'm not going outside of that 6x6, because I still want it to go in a 6x6 envelope, and I still want it to be quite well supported as well. So I think what I'm going to do is use a little bit of red liner tape, just for security with doing this on a video. If you're doing it with the normal glues and you're leaving it for a little while, then that would be perfect. So what I'm going to do is just put that there. And then this is the difficult bit, working out where you are gluing to. So I'm thinking around about there to there. So I think should be safe there. A bit of string on that. Okay. So again, just trying to make sure I'm getting it quite straight. I think right about there we are good. A little tubular, sometimes that helps, sometimes it doesn't. It's almost there. Perfect. So now we've got our card. It's going to open, oops, like so. Oops, make sure it's drying nicely. Okay, so what I would say is just make sure this dries flat, because if it curls in towards the back it will topple. But it should be fine if it's glued straight. Now when I put the pads on the other ones, I did pad this second lot of decoupage ready, so I just need to take the backs off and to pop these on. So let's start with the biggest piece first of all. And this is just one of those weird shapes. I don't think it's got a name. I suppose if anything, it's a cutaway card, isn't it? Because they cut away part of it. But I just thought it was a neat way of using up those, you know, those corners if you're doing like a twisted easel like I've done today. Because I know in my bit box I have got somewhere in there some bits of triangular pieces. It's nice to have ways to use those bits up and still be able to make the nice cards without wasting anything. And if you didn't want to use, you know, obviously same as with the other card really, you could use, you could have put your insert on the bottom rather than, and use it as a decorative paper rather than as, sticking to me, it's off, there's another one there I think. You could, yeah, you could use your, you know, your duo design pads, all those sort of things, all come in with kits like this where you are spreading the decoupage around, because Hunkydory is so generous with it and the layers. There we go, so just putting some tacky glue on the back. Again, we're going to come in. And the good thing about this, of course, is the printed cardstock is not, it's got no gold on it whatsoever. But once you start putting this decoupage on, you can see this has got that gold on. So it elevates it off that page even more. And of course, if you didn't want to do any of this, all you could do is just literally take your piece of cardstock, fold it in half, pop a topper and a sentiment on, and you've got a, you know, beautiful card front and back. That you know, anybody would love really. There's, you know, flowers are good for everyone. I don't think it's purely a female or a male thing, because I know my uncle is very proud of his garden. So I always send him, generally I tend to send him like the garden pictures rather than a particular flower, but because I don't know what his favourite flower is. He is a very keen gardener, even though his mobility is not great these days, you know. Right, so I'm trying to, let's work with these twigs at the bottom, because if I go with this one over here, this one's going on a journey all of its own apparently. Right, there we go. And we've got these little bits. And I still have another piece of decoupage left, which I will put on another card. That's that one. The hardest thing I think about using tweezers on these is getting them to release at the right time. That's that one. But luckily, because we can just give a little slide, it helps us get those into position. Obviously I've put these on just really quite flat. If you want to shape these, you're obviously going to get a lot more dimension as well. I might have forgotten one of these petals. That's that one. Just grab that one. Oh, we got a little bit of. And the last one is this piece here. I didn't want to leave it off because we had its friend there, so I thought they kind of really do need to go together. That is that. So we're going to bring those gems out again. I also need a sentiment, and I'm hoping that that beautiful long one which says forever grateful for you and everything you do, which I think is a gorgeous sentiment. And it's also got this beautiful little snowdrops on as well. So I'm hoping that is going to come along the bottom, and I think we'll have that coming up and coming off a little bit. So, but not too much. We'll just go with these 1mm pads. And so there, I think that's going to be fine. We don't want to see anything behind. Yeah. This is going to give it plenty of support. Again, tacky glue as always. I should go over a little bit more maybe. Hopefully we're not going to see a pad. No, we're not. Determined to go on the one, can't you? There we go. Okay. Then we've got our little bow, which I'm going to come in here. I'm just going to put a nice big blob of the PVA glue. You can use a glue dot if you want. And then I'm going to pop that into the glue. Clamp that down. It will take about 10 minutes or so to dry. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, let's go with these big ones. Use these dark ones again. No, let's not use that one. Let's use this little one first. Up there. And then I'm going to bring those across that way. So we've kind of got our sort of things going round, drawing the eye around to all of the detail. That is going to be our finished card using those bits up. So I feel like we've been quite frugal with them. Not wasted anything. Still got all of that decoupage. So you've got another piece of decoupage there. And then the cardstock I've got the insert, which I've not put anywhere yet, and I've also got that. So that is going to go quite nicely on there as a topper. Maybe a easel card. Looks about the right size for that. Yeah, 3 3/4. I hope we've got 2 inches there. By 5, 5 to 10. Yeah. It's just the long bit at the front I would need. And I possibly could get that there or off of here. So that is what I'm going to do with those bits. So you will see that one go up as well, but probably not today. I'll do that after, and the photo will probably go up tomorrow. But let's bring in, so obviously it's going to be difficult to show you that one standing just because I've got that bow on there, but that is how that one's going. It will still fit in a 6x6 card envelope. We've used a lot of the real estate there, but we are still within our little place. And then we've got our little twisted easel as well. So 2 different takes on the triangle shape of a card. Let's try and pin that little leg down because it's annoying me how it's flicking up. But yeah, that is going to be the cards for today. So like I say, next time I come back, hopefully, that's if they Royal Mail doesn't send my boxes to the wrong place. I'll do a goodie box opening. We'll have a play with what's in there, and then the following video I'll do the other goodie box opening, and then play with them, and then from that we'll go just pure Christmas until nearer the date. But that's it for today. So thank you so much for watching. Apologies again for missing the other day. But I will see you again very soon. So until then, happy crafting. Bye.